Every snap is an interview.
After the Snap.
What a snap.
Hey, keep your mouth shut, 50!
I lead by example.
With Blake and Reed Ferguson, discussing life in, out, and after football.
To be able to leave walking away with a degree and a championship, it couldn't be any better.
Yeah!
Well, you can take this boy out the real South Thunder, but you can't take the real South out of my voice. And now here we go again, twist a little bit deeper because I got thick skin. You must be selling me
Reed,
some.
I'm sitting here in beautiful South Florida, where it is currently 78 degrees, a crisp 78 degrees, I might add. And to me, this is what fall feels like now. 78 degrees, high of like 91 during the day. And it's cooled down in the evening-ish.
Okay.
And I'm sitting here drinking my apple cider, just enjoying. I might as well be sitting here by a bonfire because it's so cold outside.
So just to clarify, you consider 91 as fall?
It is now.
Okay. I am totally with you. Because today at practice it was peach, an absolute peach of a day. It was like 48 degrees, slight breeze, sunny. It was beautiful. This is primetime weather. Buffalo right now is primetime weather. I just looked on my weather app. There is not a day in the next 10 days, as far as I can see ahead, where the temperature gets over 63 degrees. The high is between 58 and 63 for the next 10 days. It's beautiful. It's going to be sunny 8 out of those 10 days. The leaves have been turning for like a week and a half now. I know I would have mentioned that last week on the pod. I know I missed it. But the leaf, there's like a 2 week window.
Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
We missed you.
We have a 2-week window every fall where the leaves are green, they turn red, and they fall off in like the span of 17 days. I know that's more than 2 weeks.
That is oddly
like
specific.
2.5 weeks. It happens so fast. Like they're already falling. Like there's bare trees in our backyard.
Yeah, because you talk all the time about how at Halloween,
yes,
that's when the weather turns, and then
I think
it's
this
like
is going to be our warmest
weather.
Yes. I think this is going to be our warmest Halloween game we've ever had. It's going to be like 50 at kickoff.
So does it only go downhill? Literally, like
yeah, from here.
It only gets
from here.
It only gets worse. This is peak Buffalo.
Yeah, well, next week the lows are dipping down.
I want to go back a second to your question about 91.
We're a big weather pod.
About 91 degrees being fall weather. When we played the Tennessee Titans last year, and we traveled up there. We traveled up to Nashville on New Year's Day. That day before, so New Year's Eve, December 31st, it was 85 degrees outside. I was sweating.
That's
profusely.
surprising for Tennessee.
No. At practice.
Miami. Sorry. At practice. Missed
yes. That. 85 degrees.
Yes.
We travel up there, and during the game, it was 35 and spitting rain.
I remember watching that game. That
91 degrees. It's like a 6-degree difference between now and January 1st. So
for the next 3 months, you're basically going to be having the same weather.
Yeah, they said last year was like the hottest like weather on record in South Florida. I don't know if I believe that because it's always hot.
Yeah.
And like even through
hot
Christmas,
and hotter feel the same
through Christmas time. But who knows? We'll see. I'm still drinking my apple cider.
I love it.
And
anything that gets you in the mood.
Hey man, it takes what it takes.
I'm a sucker. I don't like Eggnog though, not a fan.
I don't
Oh,
really
fan.
care for eggnog either.
I feel like this is a
Um,
conversation we should be having after Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not an eggnog fan either, but definitely some apple cider. I didn't heat it up this time, although warm apple cider is definitely the best apple cider.
Fantastic.
So
You're a big decorate for Christmas
Huge.
right after Halloween.
huge. I'm probably gonna start pulling out the decor tomorrow when we finish football because that'll be my
Excellent.
we leave Saturday, Sunday,
Ah, yes.
come back, and then I'll
Yep.
probably throw them up Monday, Tuesday. Like
Tuesday.
that'll
Don't
be
do Monday.
why?
Monday is the holiday. Monday
okay.
is Halloween.
You're right, because it was Sunday last year. You're right. Yeah, Tuesday will be the day. Christmas trees going up. Santa Claus blow up will be on the balcony,
Fantastic.
ready
I need
to
get one
rock.
of those.
Ready to
I love
rock.
it. I love it. Okay, so I know I wasn't here last week. Will, you and Will did a fantastic job.
Will was
I know-
outstanding.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a great job. I know it is not easy to do a podcast by yourself. So mad
Yeah, I
props
felt like
to,
I was sitting here
co-host
talking to
Blake
myself.
Ferguson, talking to yourself. Yes, and exactly what it feels like. I tasted a little bit of that when I had Chris on without you for March Madness earlier
saying-
this year.
Are you saying talking to Chris is like talking to nobody?
No, but I was
What do you-
usually
Where are you
usually
going with this?
usually you dominate the conversation. I follow and we kind of
Got
go
it.
through and coming me being the lead person, that was like my first time doing it
Yep.
in our year of doing the podcast, so it was good practice. But
Yep.
so I want to recap week 7. We were on bye week, but I want to get into the Dolphins first. You guys were able to play. You guys played on Sunday Night Football.
Prime
which is
time, baby.
fantastic. Prime time. The primetime Fins. You beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 16-10. I was able to watch most of the game when I was not dealing with my child that is currently not sleeping at the moment. But I was able to catch most of the game. Give us your thoughts.
Well, not only was it primetime dubs, it was also throwback dubs,
Yes. I'm
which
so jealous.
are-
I saw the picture when they released, like when they announced earlier on Sunday, like what y'all were wearing.
yeah,
I was like,
dude.
why do y'all never wear it against us? Because guess what? I hate to interrupt you. Guess what? We are wearing throwbacks again when you guys come to Buffalo in December. That's when
We-
we're wearing our standing Buffalo.
We only wear throwbacks at home, to my knowledge. So
Which is fine.
I don't know.
But so basically you're telling me unless we play at Miami late in the season,
probably we're
you
definitely
guys are
not
always
wearing.
going to be wearing white.
We're definitely not wearing the aqua throwbacks at home early, like at a 1 o'clock game.
That's my
not happening.
point.
Yeah,
That's my
they're-
point.
We're
So
putting
if I
the other
wanted
team
to, if
in
I wanted
colors.
to trade
Yeah,
jerseys with
it
Blake
would be
Ferguson,
it'd be a late game. But we also have white throwbacks, which we've worn
right?
at a 1 o'clock game. So, but if you're looking for the aqua throwback, then it's got to be a late.
It's got to
game,
be a
or
late game or an away
prime
game.
time. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Because
Fair enough.
we wore, I think we wore a white throwback at home last year against the Colts. But yeah, so I love the throwback uniforms. To me, it is the best uniform in football, and I feel like we've
Totally. We definitely done best jerseys. But I need to applaud you for your unbiased opinion.
I mean, I would have told you
Because
that
I believe that
before.
our throwbacks are the best.
Is that
So
your unbiased opinion?
that's my unbiased opinion. So
I would have
much
told you.
appreciated.
I would have told you that, I think, before I got here, and
Sure.
if I played for another team. The only other one that I feel like competes in my head is, and I got roasted for saying this, is the Pittsburgh Steelers Bumblebee uniform. I love that
They
uniform.
haven't worn them in a long
and it
time.
gets a lot of hate, as does the Packers like blue uniform with like the brownish gold pants.
Yeah.
But I am here for all of that.
Love
There is, I guess, maybe another one. The Atlanta black
Red helmets.
throwbacks,
Oh.
helmets.
Red helmets. They just wore them 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I love those uniforms. I have since we were growing up Falcons fans.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the win column, huge. Glad to have Tua back. Glad to have Teron Armstead back. Felt good to be back in the win column. Losing streaks are never fun. We learned that last year with 7 straight. And there were a lot of guys on the team this year who remember how that felt. And so
What was it 2 in a row before Pittsburgh?
It was 3.
Oh, 3.
We lost to Cincy on Thursday night right after we played y'all,
Mm.
which was when Tua got hurt.
Yep.
We lost in New York
the
against
Jets.
the Jets,
That's right.
and then
Okay.
at home to the Vikings.
Got it.
So
I
it
forgot
was-
about the Cincy game.
Yeah, Cincy Thursday night game was weird. And
Almost
so
came back.
yeah. And I feel like that we, despite all of the adversity and stuff that we faced through those 3 games, I feel like we were in all of them, and a lot of what we were doing was just shooting ourselves in the foot. It was us creating issues for ourselves.
Sure.
But it did feel good to be back in the win column on prime time, leading into a huge week for both of us, which
Yes.
after we discuss your bye week adventures, we will. I previewed it a little bit last week, but we're going to really dive deep and show the world what we're planning to do this weekend.
Yes. So like you mentioned, we were on bye this week, 5-1 going into the bye, coming off I know you mentioned it last week, coming off a win at Kansas City, which was just a thrilling game, fantastic. Coming back at the end, Josh throwing the touchdown to Dawson with however much time left, and then obviously Taryn getting the pick at the end.
I saw
sealing the.
It's funny. I got home and flipped it on, and that was the second play that I saw.
Oh yeah,
because we played, and then
Yep.
I went to eat with some friends, and it wasn't on in the restaurant. Then I got home, flipped it on, boom, one play, pick, sealed the deal.
Yeah, it was fantastic. There was one guy. Do you talk to fans? Like, do you talk to people in the stands on game day? Like, do you
During,
joke around
during the game?
Yeah, like, do you joke around with people?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes, not a ton.
Okay.
Especially like at away games. Away games, I pretty much just ignore. I should give a PSA. We can hear everything on the sideline. For those of you,
we can.
Yeah.
If
For
you're
For those of you
like
who are
over
like
by
on
the
the
kicking net,
front
yeah,
row,
yeah.
like yelling at us, yelling Jason Sanders' name, we can hear everything.
Yes.
But no, I don't really. I did a little more. I interacted a little more in college just because I was like, I
Sure.
liked to screw around with the student sections and the away,
Yeah.
you know, in Gainesville or in Auburn or whatever, but not too much in the NFL.
There was a few guys. The Bills traveled fantastic. There was a ton of Bills fans there. But
Shocker.
obviously the away sideline is going to be a healthy mix of Bills fans, Chiefs fans. There was a group of down by our kicking net, one of the kicking nets. There was a group of Chiefs fans, also a group of Bills fans that we were kind of, when we would score, I'd come back, put my helmet down, like clap up and give the Bills guy, the Bills fans like, thumbs up, like, this is great. And the Chiefs fans would be like, you're flicking me off, dude. Like,
Yeah, love that.
You guys really think you can win this game? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I mean, we're winning right now, so I don't know what to tell you. Like,
the
I'm not
answer is
feeding
yes.
not feeding into like too much to it, but just like
Yeah.
bantering back and forth. Like, I enjoy doing that with guys, especially the ones you could tell have had a few drinks during the day,
Yes.
and they have no idea, probably have no idea what they're talking about. Anyway, there was this one, and I'm not going to get into like exactly what was said, but it was it 17? It was 17-17, like in the fourth quarter, and we had just kicked a field goal or something to tie it. I don't even remember. We had just tied it up, and I come back over to the sideline, and the Chiefs guy's like, the funniest thing is he had like this Zorro mask on his face, like a red. He was like this normal looking dude in like a Chiefs t-shirt, and he had like this mask that like covered just his eyes, like it was
Incredible.
like Mr. Incredible. Yes, like black, but it was red. It was like a red eye mask with his eye holes. And I was like, this guy is yelling at me about my
I'm the idiot here.
Like I'm the dummy, me, the guy in football pads. And I was watching him, and he was just like, blah blah blah, Chiefs, blah blah, you guys suck. Oh, it's 17 points. And he's like, you really think you can win this game? And I said, well, the score's tied, so technically anybody can win right now. And that's pretty much all I said to him. And then after Taryn picked it off, we were going bananas on the sideline, like celebrating. And I looked right over to him, and he's walking up the steps. And I'm like, hey. And I walked over. I was like kind of by the kicking net. And I like walked over because the people knew that I was like conversating with him. Like the people around him knew that I was going back and forth with him just a little bit during the game. And I was like, hey, where's the guy? I was like, hey, where's he at? Like, where's the guy with the mask? I was like, he's right there. It's like, get him to turn around. And they were like tapping him on the shoulder, like, hey, he wouldn't look back.
He did
Would
not
look
want
back.
the smoke.
The Chiefs fans, like some of the Chiefs fans were like laughing along with me, which made it funny. And the Bills fans too were like, we're loving it, obviously.
Right.
But the Chiefs fans were like, hey, he's trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I'm not turning around. He just kept walking up the stairs. I was like,
amazing.
Man, that is just so sweet. It's like, it was so funny. But anyway, we were on bye this week. We got out of town for a few days. A few things. So one day we went out to eat breakfast. And this is like such a Reed thing. If you're going out to eat for breakfast, like what is your ideal time if you're going somewhere for breakfast? Do you have an ideal time?
9.
Before it turns into brunch?
9. 9 o'clock is breakfast. Anything after 10 is brunch.
Okay. I'm a firm 8 o'clock, because
you're up at 5:30 with your child.
No. Because if you eat at 9, if you get to the restaurant at 9, you don't get your food till 9:30. Not, you're eating past 10 o'clock, which means your lunch is going to push later into the afternoon. I don't know.
See, my lunch doesn't
we didn't
change.
get our food till like after 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And I was just like, this threw my whole day off. It was our last day there. I wanted to get Cane's.
Oof.
Because we hadn't gotten Cane's yet.
Just go like 1:30. Who cares?
Well, we got it for dinner. It was I got it. And
I can tell you're not at all a creature of habit.
Not a creature of habit.
You don't love eating at the same time every day at all, do you?
No, not.
You love just different meal times,
yes,
different bedtimes.
I love changing my routine.
Yeah.
It's a passion of mine. My routine is not having a routine. Okay, second thing. Second and third thing, it kind of goes together. Can you name a better place? And I have one in mind, but can you name a better place to people watch than an airport?
I'm so glad you're bringing this up. Did I tell you what I saw in the Atlanta airport?
Was it what you texted?
I saw a guy get arrested.
The Broncos fan? Oh.
I saw a guy get arrested in the airport on Tuesday night.
No,
So
please
no,
share for the.
no,
please share.
there is not a better place.
There's not a better. The only place
Two
I can
people
think of
watch.
before you get in your story, the only place I could think of that would be better would be like a theme park
or Vegas.
or Vegas, like the Strip in Vegas.
Yes.
But like a theme park, like Six Flags on a weekend,
Yeah.
that's rich. Okay, please. I don't know if I've ever been more locked in on this podcast than I am right now. Please share your story.
So for those who don't know, who aren't aware, our granddad passed away last Wednesday on the 19th. And so his funeral was Monday and burial was Tuesday. Flying back to Fort Lauderdale from Birmingham Tuesday evening. And I'm in the Atlanta airport. I'm at my gate. We're literally like pre-boarding. I get up to throw away. This is like way more info than you need, but I got a strawberry cupcake because it was staring me down when I walked through the Atlanta airport on Monday morning. But I was like, it is like 11 a.m. on a Monday morning. I'm leaving the airport. I cannot buy a strawberry cupcake right now.
Yes.
So of course I'm in the same terminal, same concourse on Tuesday evening. I'm like, it's going down. I'm throwing away the remains of my strawberry cupcake as I'm about to board. And I overhear this couple talking about what they just witnessed at McDonald's.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is juicy. So long story short, what happened was there was a gentleman who was in line at McDonald's. He was severely intoxicated. I assume
At the airport.
From the bar at the airport. And he's in line. He gets frustrated with the female worker at McDonald's. He then proceeds to go behind the counter, physically
You
abuses.
saw this happen?
No,
This is the story.
This is witness testimony
Okay.
from the couple who were on my flight that were just standing next to me.
Okay.
He goes behind the counter. He physically abuses this female worker,
Poor girl.
assaults her, I guess I should say. Physically assaults her. Like slaps her phone out of her hands, like hits her, shoves her, does something, and storms off and goes to try and board his flight to wherever. It was not my same flight. It was it was like the flight across from our gate. It was like the gate directly across.
Okay.
So we're standing there, and the reason I overhear this couple is because they're looking like they're to my left. They're looking like in my direction, kind of over my right shoulder. So they're like looking across my line of vision, and I can feel them like looking at me.
Okay.
And so I like see them looking. I turn to look at what they're looking at, and it's this guy like at the like trying to scan his ticket, his boarding pass.
Okay.
Police pull him to the side. They talk for a couple minutes, and then he turns around and they handcuff him. And it was like not
And you saw this happen?
I saw him get handcuffed. Yes.
Okay.
So they like pulled him to the gate like next to ours. He's like sitting down in one of the seats, like handcuffed. And then as I'm like boarding the plane, they take the guy and they're taking him somewhere. But it was unbelievable. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I've seen one other person get arrested in an airport before. I believe it was in Milwaukee. I was with Dad. But the funniest part about this particular instance was the guy had some friend or somebody traveling with him. And the guy was
man
like,
or woman?
it was another man. It was another guy. I assume it was like a work partner
Okay.
like work,
This guy didn't
co-
think like,
coworker.
hey man, let's chill it on the booze,
No idea.
brother.
The guy was like, "Screw you, I'm getting on the plane," and just left.
Heck yeah. He's like, I gotta go see my family,
He
dog.
left the guy. So it was there is no better place to people watch than specifically the Atlanta airport, but airports
Atlanta's
in
great.
general.
Yeah. So to follow that up, I just want to say, flying with a toddler is quite the adventure. For those of you out there that have done it, mad props to you. I can see why people actively choose not to travel when their kids are young. Sometimes when things are out of your control, you have to, like in our circumstance, but I can see why people travel locally when their kids are young and then do Disney World when they're like 5 and 6. Because when your baby is not sleeping on the airplane, you are all hands on deck because there's nowhere to walk. There's only so many snacks that you can give before they don't want any snacks anymore. She's not with it enough yet to like watch the TV screen, and she doesn't like watch TV at all anyway. So it's not like she has a favorite show.
Right.
Like there's kids shows on the Delta whatever that are like kids shows. Like kids love to watch these Bluey and Cocomelon or whatever it is. It doesn't mean anything to her because she never watches those in the first place. I'm like, hey, do you want to look at pictures of Buck and Luna on my phone? And she's like, oh yeah, I'm all in. She'll like love looking at pictures for 10 minutes, and then she loses interest, and then now she's on to digging in my backpack for snacks, and then it's, oh, I want to get up and punch the air vent and turn on the air vent and squeeze, punch the light button, and then now I'm punching the flight attendant call button, and now the lights are so pretty, and I'm like, stop pushing the button. It is quite the adventure, but we made the most of it, going to and from Sandy Cheek, the home of Sandy Cheeks. But yeah, it was quite eventful. So and before we get into just wrapping this up, so we wanted to hit on. Sorry, that's all I have. Did you have? That's all I got.
No, that's all I got.
Okay. So this week you guys play Detroit 1:00 at Detroit.
Correct.
We play Green Bay at home 8:20 p.m. We have set up travel details, itinerary, what would you call it? A travel arrangements for mom and dad and a few of our cousins to travel with to go from your game to watch your game, leave the Detroit Lions Stadium, go straight to the airport, get on a plane, and fly straight to Buffalo in order to make our game at 8:20 p.m. Thank you to Bruce. I don't know if Bruce listens to the podcast, but thank you, Bruce, and the people at Rep 1 for helping us out with arranging this arrangement.
You've set the record for a number of times you've said arrangement in the last 3 minutes.
I think, as far as I'm concerned, the people that I've talked to, this has never been done before. Now, Travis and Jason Kelsey's mom did it last year, but she was not present at both games for the full game. She had to leave early, and she was late to the second game. So as far as I'm concerned, this has never happened before where parents of two NFL players have made both full football games.
Yeah.
So And I really don't think it would be. There's only a few other places I think that it would be possible. Maybe Chicago, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and maybe like the Jets, Giants, Philly area, New England. So probably 6 or
Washington.
7 teams that this could have happened with. So grateful that we.
Maybe like Miami, Tampa.
Oh, sorry, I was
Miami-
thinking Buffalo. I was
Miami-
thinking getting to Buffalo.
Oh, getting to Buffalo.
Yeah, I was
Got it.
thinking surrounding Buffalo. Sorry,
Got it.
I'm thinking for your 1:00 game.
Got
like
it.
where
I was
could you
thinking
have made
both.
it? Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously close by. There's a ton of teams close by. But we are grateful to mom and dad that they have made just about every football game. The past couple of years, they've kind of bounced back and forth, but just about every football game that we have ever played in,
I think
they have at
I
least
think
made
we
the
should-
effort to get there. So
we should clarify. Mom and dad, one of the two, at least one of the two, were at every football game that you and I played in
until
until
the
the-
NFL, until
until
you
the
got
2020
drafted.
season.
Yes,
They
from
never
me
missed a game
being in 5th grade
to
when I
2020.
started until 2020, 2005, for 15 years,
They went to like 100 and something
Never
straight
missed.
LSU games.
never missed.
And so
yeah, pretty
this
incredible.
the least we can do is set them up to pull off one of the coolest things in football
No doubt.
history for two brothers.
No doubt. And friend of the pod, Brett Carlson, will
Will
be
be there to
traveling with them,
Capture it all.
documenting the whole thing. So we will have some cool pictures
Yep.
posted from the podcast account. So be
He is
tuned
going
in
to
there.
be. They're going to be doing a takeover of the After the Snap Pod
Yes.
Instagram account, so you can follow along on the Instagram story
Yes.
of their travels throughout the day, all kinds of video and photo content as they move from Detroit to Buffalo, and then obviously attending both games. It'll be sick. They're gonna, from what I've been told, they're gonna do a segment on it on our game
NBC,
on
yes.
CBS, and then NBC. It sounds like has
NBC's
also
doing
picked
it,
it up for
our
Sunday
local
Night Football.
Yeah, a couple of our local news stations, the beat reporters have been asking me about it after we tweeted about it a couple of days ago. So very, very cool. Glad they're able to do it. Before we get into a little bit of the World Series stuff, I want to congratulate our Clutch Snap of the Week.
Weird circumstances for Clutch Snap of the Week, and
Yes.
maybe the first
I think
time
it's a first.
this has happened.
First time this has happened. Want to congratulate the Week 7 After the Snap Clutch Snap of the Week winner. Goes to Cameron Cheeseman of the Washington Commanders for his punt snap, not a field goal snap, punt snap to seal victory for the Commanders over the Green Bay Packers. Can we clap it up for Cameron?
Congrats, Cam,
Congrats to
friend of the
Cam,
pod.
friend of the pod. Congrats to Cam. He's having a good season. I do try and watch as much of the league-wide film as I can every week. So nice job, Cam. Keep killing it. But congrats to you. You have won the Clutch Snap of the Week. A lot of people don't know, but those late game punt snaps can be very very intense, because basically what the situation was Green Bay was down a few points, I think 3 points, and they were trying. I mean, there was under a minute left. Is that correct? Maybe
Yeah, it was
40,
like 29 seconds left.
29 seconds left, and Cameron had to deliver a pearl of a snap to Tress Way in order for the Packers not to be able to block the punt and gain possession in good field position. So so props to Cameron there, and keep doing a great job this season.
I believe it's time that we revisit some good, some bad,
Mostly bad.
mostly terrible
I don't
preseason
know.
MLB
Yeah.
picks.
I don't know
Predictions,
what I was
whatever.
thinking.
So
I don't know what I was thinking when I
So-
made some of these picks.
when this podcast releases, the first game will be tonight, basically Friday night, October
yes, Friday night.
28th. And so Astros Phillies, huge matchup.
Phillies,
I personally,
Phillies snuck into the playoffs. I'm
Personally,
cheering
I-
for the Phillies.
yeah, and I am too, just because I think we all have a collective, especially AL baseball fans have a
No
collective
doubt.
hatred of the Houston Astros, and it
Don't
means
let Erica hear that.
means a little more for you because your wife is from Houston, and
She only cheers for the Astros when they're playing the Yankees or when she knows they're in the playoffs.
just to get under your skin.
Precisely.
First game in Houston. First 2 games in Houston. Is it
2-3-2. Yes.
2-3-2. Okay, got it. So
Yep.
2 in
Friday,
Houston, 3
Saturday
in
in
Philly.
Houston, and then they'll travel and play Monday in Philly.
Got it.
Yep. Yep. Astros swept, as much as this hurts to say, swept my Yankees 4-0. I was able to attend game 1, which was awesome. I've been wanting to go to a Yankees playoff game for years, being here in Buffalo. And it's never worked out because either our bye is too late, the bye is early, and they're not, playoffs haven't started yet, or whatever. So it finally timed up this year, and we happen to be going to Houston. So it worked out fantastic. They lost. Ended up being they're probably one of their best chances to win a game out of the whole series because they took a lead early. But yeah, so they swept. Phillies beat the Padres. So the Phillies
Phillies are
were,
hot
I
right now,
believe,
man.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's very hot.
Sorry, it like
Yep.
it like glitched.
No, you're good.
Phillies are hot right now.
Yes, they're very hot. They came in as the 7 seed, and have beaten the Braves, knocked out the Braves, who are they were the reigning champs, and they have now beat the Padres, who knocked out the Dodgers, who won the most games in the National League this year. So the Phillies definitely have their work cut out for them, but they have proven that they can knock off a team of this caliber so far this season. Or this postseason, I guess. But and I know producer Chris wanted to we wanted to add this in. Bryce Harper, I'm a big Bryce Harper fan. Wanted him to come to New York when he was a free agent a couple years ago, but he ended up basically clinching it in the 8th inning of Game 5 when he hit his go-ahead home run in the 8th inning. So, Chris, that is your cue to add the audio to the podcast here. I know you're going to make it sound great, but so want to get in. So we're going to make our World Series picks at the end. I want to get into the predictions and follow up with what we picked in April and how that turned out now in October, 6 months later. So just to start out, we're gonna go through the NL and then the AL. So the NL East, we both picked Atlanta to win the East, and they
Off to a
did
good
win
start.
the East. Off to a good start. We're 1 for 1. Atlanta ended up they were 14 games back,
Yeah,
13 games back of the Mets in June,
Yeah,
and
fought all the
ended
way
up
back.
just going on an absolute tear the second half of the season. And the Mets didn't play bad.
No,
They were
just
winning
kinda
at maybe
plateaued.
they were winning at like a 90 win pace, 92 win clip. But the Braves were winning at a 98, 99 win
Yeah.
clip. And they ended up overtaking them in the last series of the season to win the division. The NL Central, Blake, you picked St. Louis, the
2 for
Cardinals
2.
to win, 2 for 2. I picked Milwaukee because I believe they won it last year, and I thought their pitching staff would do better than their pitching staff did fine, but I thought the lineup was kind of dead second half of the season. So St. Louis won the NL Central. Blake is 2 for 2. Reed is 1 for 2. Onto the NL West. This was the easiest pick of the bunch. Dodgers won the NL West. We both picked the Dodgers. Blake 3 for 3.
Let's go.
3
off
for
to a
3
hot
in the
start.
NL. That is impressive. That was very impressive. This is where it gets a little dicey in the AL. The AL East, the Yankees won the division. Blake picked the Boston Red Sox,
Hilarious pick.
which
looking
I
back
think,
on the season.
if we're keeping score here, should probably count as a -1 because they finished behind the Orioles.
That
I
is-
hope you did everybody hear me say that? Behind the Orioles. Okay.
I wonder when the
I
last
picked them.
time that's happened.
It's been a while.
Chris, if you
It's been
could
a while.
like figure that out and interject when you edit this, interject when the last time that's happened, that would be amazing because it hasn't happened in a very long time.
Yes. I picked the Blue Jays. Neither pick was right.
3 for 4.
Blue Jays
You're
finished second.
1 for
I'm
4.
2 for 4.
2 for 4.
AL
Dodgers, got it.
Central, Cleveland snuck it out. They were one of the lowest payroll teams, so a little bit surprising there. They were like $80 million payroll, which I think was definitely bottom 10 in the league. We both picked the White Sox, and there's a note on here that I said the gap between first and second would be double digits, so couldn't be more far off there.
I
I
feel
think
like that.
Chicago.
I
Did
feel like
Chicago
of
finish
the-
second or third?
Uh,
I think
Chicago
they-
finished second. They were 11 games behind Cleveland
So I was right
on the double digit.
on the double digits. Just picked the wrong team.
So I feel like of the 6 divisions that we predicted,
We haven't
feel
gotten
like-
to the West yet.
I feel like that this one, right? I feel like that this particular, the AL Central was the biggest toss up because maybe
I
the
agree.
NL Central with St. Louis and Milwaukee both having
That's the
a
one I would have picked. Yeah.
solid shot, but Dodgers clear pick. Atlanta to me, I mean it turns out
Heavy favorite.
It turns
Heavy
out that the NL East was actually the most competitive. But
Yes.
if you ask me at the end of spring training, which one is going to be the biggest most toss up, AL Central or the NL Central?
Yeah. I'm with you there. Okay, so last prediction here, the AL West. The Houston Astros obviously won that division. You picked the Astros to win. I like to cheer for the underdog. So I picked Seattle. They came on hot at the end of the season, ended up getting I think they got swept in the DS by Houston.
Yes, 3 games to nothing.
so-
Houston.
Yes. And it ended with the 18-inning game. So I think Seattle Seattle's close. I don't feel bad about my pick.
I feel like we
But I
all
think-
enjoyed pulling for Seattle as kind of that
Definitely.
underdog.
Definitely.
all
They have a
love-
lot of
We all love Julio
Easy.
Rodriguez. Their
yes.
their
Very easy to
announcer,
cheer for.
their radio announcer
Announcer's
is
fantastic.
I don't know his name, but he is phenomenal. He like some of the
Fantastic.
best home run calls I've
Yes.
seen in a long time.
Yes.
And then obviously when they clinched and all kinds of big moments, he was outstanding.
Yep. Okay, so moving on. So going through the divisions, you finished 4
4 of 6.
for 6, and I was 2 for 6.
Mm.
So big yikes.
For somebody that
there.
is as big into the sabermetrics as you are,
I know.
I shouldn't have beat you that bad.
You shouldn't. I took the betting markets into consideration, maybe a little too much. Sometimes you just got to get the vibes, you know.
or just pick like I did?
So the
Just
right. So the World
with your gut.
Series, we picked the World Series. Blake, you picked the Dodgers over the Astros. So you're half right on who made it. I picked Atlanta over Toronto. Also 0 for 2 again there. So my picks have just been atrocious. So we will just wait until next year to do this again. But wanted to make our World Series picks for this year. Blake, I'll let you do yours first.
I feel like I have to stay with Houston losing. I have to.
That would get you bonus points for sure.
I have to stick with Houston losing. Bryce Harper's hot.
What is his name?
Schwarber?
Pitcher for the no pitcher
Nola,
for the,
Aaron
for the
Nola.
Phillies. No, long
Zach
hair.
Wheeler,
Used to pitch for the Mets. Thor.
Syndergaard.
Yes, I love that guy. Like,
Fantastic. Because he had
Just-
hair like you 10 years ago.
but I loved him when he was in New York. Just he was phenomenal. And
Yep.
so but yeah, I think that it's hard. We learned this last year with Atlanta. It's hard to beat a team with hot bats in October.
Yes,
And that is what you have with the Philadelphia Phillies. They snuck into the playoffs.
absolutely.
They
They're
have
hot at the right time.
torn up. They tore up the Braves. They've torn up the Padres. They're rolling into Houston, guns ablazing.
Yep.
I've got the Phillies in 5.
5, 4-1.
5.
Wow.
Here we go.
Dude,
Dude, all you gotta do is pull one of the 2 in Houston, and you got 3 straight in Philly.
oh my goodness.
Bring it
okay.
on. The
That's
city of
bold.
Philadelphia might burn down because the Eagles are 7-0, and the Philadelphia Phillies are playing in the World Series. If they can pull it off in 5, maybe 6, the city will erupt.
I'm gonna go Philly in 7. I think it'll go all 7 games. I see each team getting 1 apiece at the other place. Philly would end up obviously getting 2, I think, in Houston.
I think if I'm looking at it,
yeah, I see it going both ways.
I think if I'm looking at it, neither team, I don't feel like it's going to go to 7 either way. Like no matter who wins the series, I feel like it's not going to go the distance because both teams are so kind of streaky right now
Sure.
that at the drop of a hat, one of the 2 could go just cold. And
Sure.
you could see a sweep, you could see 4, you could see 5, 6, whatever. I don't feel like it's going to go the distance either way, but I'm pumped. It's going to be a great series.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
We were a
I'm
little
gonna go,
nervous.
yeah, I'm going Philly in 7. You're going Philly in 5.
We were a little nervous when it was looking like it could be Padres Guardians in
Yes.
the World Series. They probably would have just not shown it on TV to save money
I
because
saw-
nobody would have watched it.
I saw a tweet that said if it's Phillies Guardians or Padres Guardians, they're going to show game 1 of the World Series at 5:30 a.m.
That's
accurate. Yeah, accurate. Okay, so last thing I want to hit here, the new renderings finally for the stadium, the new Buffalo Bills stadium have dropped. Did you see them?
Yeah, and the place looks amazing.
Sick. It looks sick. Have you seen what Tottenham Hotspur Stadium looks like?
I played there.
You've played there. Sorry, I forgot that was last year. The same designer, same builder,
Yeah.
whatever, is building the Bills Stadium. So
Gotcha.
and based on the renderings, it looks very similar. So the pictures are fantastic. Some of the I've done a little bit of the reading. Still got to read some more of the details, but it says it's not a dome, but they are saying that 65% of the seats will be covered. and it's also it's not going to be in the ground like the stadium is now. It's going to be above ground, and it is also going to be facing north south, so that the wind they're strategically placing it so that the weather is less of a the wind weather is less of a factor for the game. So and the one interesting piece that I read, I guess it was a while back when they kind of came out with the last round of details about it. They're building a part of the stadium is going to be some type of special mesh, like a metal mesh that's supposed to decrease the impact of the wind as well, on top of the way the stadium is facing. So when the stadium, when the wind hits the stadium, it's going to hit it and deflect it, I guess, differently, or absorb it differently than typical stadium would, because of what's on the exterior. So I think it's interesting that there are ways to adapt the stadium and kind of cool. limit the weather factors. So I think that's pretty interesting.
I don't know, like building a dome.
Well, the hard part about the dome was I think it would cost like an extra $400 million to like dome it off. So and whatever. I don't really know all the finances, but
I have two thoughts. One was it looked cool. It looked like beautiful. It was a beautiful rendering, but it didn't look over the top, which I feel like is right up Buffalo's alley. Like, don't need all the frills. Don't need want it to look really nice. Want it to look really good, but not like. Doesn't have to look like LA where it's just all the flash and everything. It looked functional,
appropriate
for the market. Secondly, I don't really know what I expected as far as dome versus no dome, because I don't keep up with the Bills Stadium renovation. Like, I don't keep up with those details, but I think if you're looking at it from an NFL perspective, a lot of people would say, oh man, they should have built a dome. They should have put a cap on it, because that way you can host Super Bowls. That way it's, just generally more people are going to be more appealing to go to a game. You're going to be more enticed to go to a game if it's inside when it's 7 degrees outside. However, I do see the Buffalo side where they're like, same reason we don't have a dome on ours, because we use the heat to our advantage. We practice in it every day. That's our home field advantage. The cold, the wind, the crappy weather is y'all's home field advantage. Like, teams that come to that city to play, it is so hard to play there in December. And so I totally get that. Like, I totally do. And I think it's what makes Buffalo, so gritty, if you want to put a word on it. The fans thrive on that. I think the fans probably would have boycotted the Bills if y'all would have made a dome. So I see both sides.
Sure.
I think it would have been cool to have a dome because we have to play there every year, but also just because I think it would be cool to host Super Bowls there, And it's virtually impossible to do that in up north without a dome on your stadium. I know New York did it. When they
hosted 13, I think. 2013 or 2014 when the Seahawks beat the Broncos.
Otherwise, like Minnesota had it, obviously indoors. But it's generally in the wintertime they're gonna put the Super Bowl in a enclosed space or in a place like Tampa or Miami. So
yep,
I get it.
That's all I got.
That is a wrap.
On this week's episode of After the Snap. As always, follow us on social media. Catch us Sunday,
Yes.
October
October 30th.
30th. Sunday, October 30th. After the Snap Pod Instagram takeover as Big Kev and Tracy make their way from Detroit to Buffalo for both games in the same day. Full coverage there. We will see you right here next week. This has been After the Snap, tales from two brothers who live life
Upside down.